Good morning. We're speaking with Dr. Jessica Torok of Urban Vet in Westmont. So, Jessica, tell us a little bit about your business and an idea of how long you've been around.
Sure. So we're a small animal hospital. We see cats, dogs, and exotic animals. We've been in the downtown Westmont area for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in June. We've got about 5 or 6 employees. Things have been pretty dynamic over the last couple of weeks. And so we're really just hoping to kind of struggle through this period and come out on top on the other side.
Well, you're in a downtown area, which sometimes can be very vibrant. And I'm just wondering how it feels right now.
Feels like a ghost town. I mean, it's so weird. Usually on my way up Cass Avenue in the morning, I'm looking over at, Bruce's place, and there are ladies going into the gym to work out, and people are getting coffee at Sweet and Savory. And, I'm waving to my neighbors as I come up the alley or whatnot. And now there's just nobody around.
I think it was totally unexpected, and we didn't have time to plan for it in many ways.
No, not at all. I mean, and it's funny because what people don't know about veterinarians is that we have extensive training in zoonoses, which are diseases that are transmitted between animals and people. So in January, I stocked up my hospital with extra masks and gloves for my staff, knowing that at some point that PPE was going to become more in demand. And so before it became in a large demand, I made sure that my staff and I were going to have enough in stock to be protected. And so none of this is a surprise to me. So when people are saying, as you say, we weren't expecting it, I think when you say we as a general population, no, we weren't expecting it. I think we as a business, as a veterinarian, I was anticipating a pretty significant infection rate and a pretty significant impact.
So give me an idea of you use the word impact. How has that impacted your business, and what kind of adjustments have you made?
So initial adjustments were simply to go to what we like to refer to as a curbside or concierge type medicine, right? So basically once the owner arrives, we ask that they call us to let us know that they've arrived and let us know what vehicle they're in. We then transfer the call to one of the nurses to take a medical history. And then the nurse lets them know, I'll be out shortly. I need you to meet me at the door. Right. And so that was kind of an evolution as well. Like initially the nurses were approaching the vehicle, but then what was happening is owners were handing their dog or cat out the window with or without a leash, which is totally unsafe because we're on a main street with a sidewalk. And so now I have concerns about liability for animals getting loose or getting hurt. My staff got bit, an owner got bit. And I finally just said, this is ridiculous. If we're open for regular business, people are more than capable of getting their animal out of the vehicle and bringing it to the building. And that should be no different right now. And so we won't approach a vehicle to get an animal out. It's also risky for my staff to be sticking their arms inside of somebody's car at this point in time, not knowing what this owner's exposure risk is or their personal medical history, or if they've been sick or anyone in their home has been sick. Our appointment times are much longer. So usually I would see, an appointment every 30 to 45 minutes. And now we're going about an hour to an hour and a half per animal.
And just why is that they're taking longer?
It just, the extra steps that we have to take in terms of communication and evaluation, like my physical exams are actually much faster because I verbalize, hey, this is what's going on with teeth or this or that. So now I'm just snapping pictures and emailing it to the owner. Most people have smartphones, so they're in their cars waiting to hear from me. And I'm like, hey, open your email while we're talking. Look at these pictures. This is what I'm seeing. This is what needs fixed. Each of those steps just takes more time. Plus the nurses then have to dress in and out of the building. Like I have a very specific infection protocol.
You've been doing this about 2 weeks. Are you seeing a change? You're seeing a drop off in the numbers of people bringing their pets in, or what have you really gone to? There was a time probably you weren't doing all necessary or emergency things. Tell me about that.
The first week, maybe 3 days, I was just seeing whatever we had on the schedule, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, we're taking precautions, we're limiting contact with owners, we're doing everything curbside. But it became very quickly evident to me that was not going to be a sustainable way to handle business. Yes, our service is essential, but within that, how do we subdivide each individual case or need of a patient, right? So the general consensus that's been released by the AVMA is that essential care would include animals who are due for a rabies or a leptospirosis vaccine because those pose a threat to public health for humans. And so those pets need to be scheduled for exams and boosters on their schedule. Puppies and kittens, because they're naive. And the last thing we need is an outbreak of parvovirus in puppies. And now we're all in PPE using gobs of it, trying to manage these patients in isolation with highly contagious, GI disease. And so you're kind of looking at that. So puppies and kittens, is a spay considered an essential surgery? No, not unless the dog has a uterine infection. Is a castration or a neuter essential? Absolutely not. Not unless there's some sort of significant behavioral concern or the dog has a tumor, right? I mean, that would be a reason to do it. So essential surgery is considered anything that is painful, affects patients' direct quality of life, or threatens life or limb.
So hearing all of this and what you go through, do you have any advice for people who are watching this and are thinking about bringing their pet in or having some concerns themselves? What can they do?
The best thing to do is call us. Just give a call. I mean, we're answering the phones. We're all still here. Our business hours have not been shortened at all. If we're not busy, we might leave out early at the end of the day, but we're not technically cutting our hours at all, because I'm still seeing a lot of really sick patients. And that's the challenge, is that mentally it's a big toll to take away all of the fun puppy visits, the, hey owner, how you doing? Congratulations. We don't get to celebrate a lot. It's a lot of sick pets and a lot of really intense care. So I think if people have concerns, they should absolutely call us, because we will help them to, negotiate and navigate whether or not their pet needs to be seen immediately. Some things we can handle via telemedicine. It's not optimal for some of these situations, but it's also not impossible. So I think you just have to be open-minded about that.
And how do they reach you? What is your phone number then?
Our number is at the clinic, 630-541-8088. Or they can also, access us through our website. We have a special page up there just specifically with links to, CDC, World Health Organization, AVMA for information on coronavirus. So we have a whole page dedicated to it. I think the biggest thing for owners to remember is that, if it's something that you've been thinking about for 3 or 4 months and it's a stable disease, so to speak, it's not making them worse, it's not, causing any difficulties, that's probably something we're going to ask you to wait on. But again, if you're not sure, just call us, because that's really the best method.
Thanks a lot for being with us this morning, and I really appreciate your time. I wish you well. I know that you're the one person in downtown Westmont many people know and go to, and since you're there so often, I'll trust that you keep an eye on the place.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you have information to share on local connections, send us an email to local@alkayemedia.com. Thank you for watching.